auto idle malfunction check. When the joysticks are neutral and the auto idle switch are activated, if engine speed does not automatically drop to 1,400 RPM after 4 seconds, pull out the electrical box and check the EPOS controller. Connect an electrical multimeter with joysticks in neutral. Ensure that the voltage between the first and third terminals connector 2 is 10 volts plus or minus 2 after 4 seconds. If it is 10 volt plus or minus 2, check the wire harness and the throttle controller. If it is abnormal, ensure that the voltage between the 17th or 18th terminals of connector 1 and the first terminal of connector 2 is 3 to 5 volt. If the voltages are 3 to 5 volt, the EPOS controller need be repaired. If any voltage is abnormal, check the pressure switches mounted on PX and PY ports of the control valve. Separate the connector from the pressure switch to check resistance. While the engine is running, the resistance should be higher than 1 mega ohm. If it is abnormal, check the pressures at PX and PY ports. They should be below 5 bar. If the pressures are below 5 bar, but any resistance is not above 1 mega ohm, the pressure switch need to be repaired. If engine speed drops automatically to 1,400 RPM whenever all joysticks are in neutral position, but engine speed does not return to its original speed when operating the joysticks, check resistances of the pressure switches mounted on PX and PY ports. While the control joystick and the pedal operates, resistances should be below 5 ohm. If it is normal, check the pressure at PX and PY ports. While the control joystick and the pedal operates, they should be above 25 bar. If the pressure is above 25 bar, but the resistance is not below 5 ohm, pressure switch need to be repaired. If engine speed is not adjusted, first select Power Mode 3. The auto idle set on the off condition, check voltage between the second and third terminal of the engine throttle controller. If the dial is turned from the minimum to maximum, voltage must change from 4 volt plus or minus 0.3 to 1 volt plus or minus 0.3. If the voltage does not change, check voltage between first and third terminal. Nominal value is 5 volt plus or minus 0.5. This voltage is nominal, but voltage between the second and third terminal does not change. Check the wire harness and the control dial. If the dial's output voltage changes normally, check voltage between the fourth and fifth terminal. While turning the dial, voltage between terminals should be 20 to 26 volt. If it is abnormal, the throttle controller needs to be repaired. If the voltage is 20 to 26 volt, but the engine control motor does not operate, check the wire harness and the control motor. LCD display gauge malfunction. First, separate the pressure sensor terminal mounted on the pump, connect it with the test harness and an electrical multimeter. The voltage between the first and third terminal should steadily remain at 27 volt plus or minus 2, and voltage between the second and third terminal should change from 1 to 4 volt according to pump pressure. Voltage between the first and third terminal is normal, but voltage between the second and third terminal is abnormal. The pressure sensor needs to be repaired. Inaccurate engine speed of LCD display gauge. Separate the cover from the monitor and check the setting condition of the dip switch. If it is correctly set, check AC output voltage of the engine speed sensor. It should be above 1.5 volt. If output voltage is low, adjust the gap of speed sensor. Power mode malfunction. If the power mode switch on the monitor panel is inoperative, the monitor needs to be repaired. If the power mode switch operates, but power mode itself does not change, check the EPOS controller. Select the power mode switch and check voltage between the 12th or 13th terminal connector 1 and the first terminal of connector 2. If any voltage is abnormal, check the wire harness and the monitor. If it is alright, check the power mode valve mounted on the pump. Separate the connector and install a test harness and an electrical multimeter. With engine at high idle and power mode 3, check the current. Nominal value is 600 mA plus or minus 20. If the current is low, check the engine speed sensor. If the engine speed sensor operates normally, check voltage between the 6th and 7th terminal. Nominal value is 1 volt plus or minus 0.1. If it is normal, check resistance of the solenoid valve to know the short or open of coil. Working mode malfunction. If the working mode switch is inoperative, the monitor needs to be repaired. If this switch is normal, but the working mode itself does not change, check voltage between the 14th or 15th terminal of connector 1 and the first terminal of connector 2 on the EPOS controller. In leveling mode, voltages between both terminals should be 10 volt plus or minus 2. In Digi mode, the 14th terminal should be 0 volt and the 15th terminal should be 10 volt plus or minus 2. In trenching mode, the 14th terminal should be 10 volt plus or minus 2 and the 15th terminal should be 0 volt. If any voltage is abnormal, check the setting condition of the dip switch. If it is correctly set, check the wire harness and the monitor. If voltages are normal, check the EPOS controller. In leveling mode, check voltage between the 10th terminal of connector 2 and 10th terminal of connector 3. It should be 20 to 28 volt. In trenching mode, check voltage between the 10th terminal of connector 2 and 9th terminal of connector 3. It should be 20 to 28 volt. If they are abnormal, the EPOS controller needs to be repaired.